What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Riding the Wave podcast with your host,
AYD
and MJ in the house. Y'all better recognize. And we got a special guest in the house, ladies and gentlemen. My boy right here. I am Canidate over here. Say what's up, player?
What's up, champs? What's up? What's going on?
What's going on?
How's it going, everybody?
I hope everybody's having a nice, productive week going into the weekend. And we're going to get into a very, very good topic that is much needed
For everybody.
For everybody.
For everybody.
And today's topic is going to be fitness talk. All right, we got my boy. How many years have you been in the game of fitness?
Collectively, about 30 years.
We got 30 years of knowledge that we're gonna be spitting. So you guys sit back, relax, grab a dumbbell, and we're gonna rock it. We're gonna rock and roll, baby.
And it's not only physical; it's also mental as well.
Yes,
so
sir. Yes,
definitely
sir.
Tune in, pay attention. We're gonna get into it, but before we do, we gotta do our cheers.
We gotta do the cheers. This is my boy over here is all about fitness. We drinking water today. Yeah. Where's your drink?
Cheers.
No drink?
I thought that was his drink. Bro, just living. All right. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you again, Canidate, for joining us. We really appreciate it. Thank you for taking the time to coming out here.
Yes.
Greatly
Thanks for the
appreciate
invite.
it.
Thanks for
Yes,
the
sir.
invite.
Let's how's everybody's current?
Oh, my current it's good now. You know, before it was choppy. I was being pulled out by that riptide. So I went through a dark place, or I had some struggles, but I pushed through it. Figured things out mentally, emotionally, physically. And now it's getting better. So back on that board, ready to catch the next wave and see what it has to offer me.
How are you, Kenneth?
I'm feeling amazing.
You look amazing, brother.
Thank
you.
you. I'm feeling good.
Yeah,
I'm feeling great right now.
Maybe just a push-up.
Goes,
right now.
Feeling healthy.
right? It goes right now, for real.
Feeling healthy.
This week was a little choppy for myself. It was a little bit choppy. My boy Canidate definitely put some new perspective in my mind, and I think it's great to get different people's different opinions and understanding philosophy of life.
Mhm.
So it was choppy, but I think after the conversation we just had a little while ago.
Behind the scenes,
behind the scenes,
it was great.
Certain things made a lot of sense, brother. And
Coach's talk.
And I thank you for that.
Yes.
All right, shout outs. Any shout outs?
Shout out to Jay Real out there. Shout out to all my clients. Yeah, this one's for you. We're gonna talk about you for a little bit here.
Okay. All
right.
Yeah.
MJ, what about you?
I just wanted to do the shout out to my boy Cat over here for taking the time to come speak to us. Thank you again, man. Thank you for supporting us, supporting the channel, and so I want to do a shout out to you, brother.
Thank you. Appreciate
Nice.
that. Pound.
Shout outs to all the listeners, or anybody that's going through some struggles or having a hard time, again, mentally, physically, and you pushed through it and you got through it. Hey, much props to you. Keep it pushing, keep going forward. There's no reason to look back or move backwards. So again, full steam ahead.
And you know what? We have a good guest that's gonna, kind of get us mentally sharp. Sharpen up
Yes.
our mental blades, so to speak.
Yes,
But
definitely some techniques I'm gonna put to use for sure.
But all right, Canada, let's go ahead and give a brief introduction of who you are, where you from, what's your background and so forth, just so people get a little taste.
Okay. Yeah, I'm from Orange County originally, Orange County, California. I've been in the fitness industry for about 30 years or so. Whether it's in personal training, coaching, even work in the sleep field. But I've touched on pretty much all areas of fitness over the years. And it doesn't just deal with just being physical, but also does a lot to deal with your mindset. And over the years, I began to realize that was the most important thing, is working on the mindset, especially with my clients, because everybody's got an issue ahead of time that may have stopped them from getting into shape, or maybe they got into shape and they stopped, or maybe they're in shape but they want to get to the next level. But it's how you approach it, what you're thinking, and how you're dealing with it while you're in the process, because your body's going to change every step of the way and your mind's going to change every step of the way. So you may have opportunities that are working against you and things that are working for you at the same time. So over those years, those are some of the things that I've learned to deal with and help my clients maybe conquer.
Okay.
Yeah.
And where were you from? Where were you born and raised?
Santa Ana. I'm from Santa Ana, California.
Okay.
Santana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And is there any particular event in your life that got you into this fitness lifestyle?
I think when I was a kid, it was a good escape, but I didn't realize that it was going to lead me into fitness.
Right.
You know, during in certain environments, you know, I would actually sneak out to go work out. You know, I wasn't actually doing bad. I would go run some lines, run some hills. I'll try to find ways.
I thought he said, I'm going to go
No,
do
not
some
those
some
lines.
lines.
Not those lines.
I would have said it like that too.
All right.
But no, I'm running sprints back and forth.
I seen the smile on MJ like, hey, he said, line?
No. But it became a habit. You know, then after a while, my mind got attached to it. Then the other opportunities started to open up in my head just from working out. So it became really deep for me when I was growing up.
Because before we started the podcast, you mentioned that you were very thin as a young
Oh yeah,
man.
very thin.
So that kind of lit a fire. You know?
That definitely lit a fire of being skinny. Because
So can you talk about that? Because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people out there.
Me,
who,
right here, right
I'm
here.
very skinny.
Same.
But yeah, man. Because can you talk us more thoroughly about that?
Yeah, you know, it's one of those things where, you know, when you're really thin, when you're young, your clothes don't fit well. You know, things hang off your shoulders a certain way, or your belt, no matter what size belt you get, you know, it's got the extra
holes.
loops. You got to pop holes.
You actually have to pop holes.
Yeah, so you got
Exactly.
one pants hanging a certain way, or, you know, I just didn't fit the norm, the standard norm for our time.
Right.
You know, so I didn't even know when I was working out and doing things that I was actually getting fit. So it just happened to work out for me. But
And was your style more being like bodybuilder, more just overall like toning your body? Were you more mixed martial arts, anything like that?
so in the beginning, it was just running. That's all I knew. It was just run.
So that's why you're so skinny, bro. 'cause
Yeah, right. It was just running, but I was already thin, and the running didn't make it any better.
Yeah.
No, then in junior high school, I joined wrestling. So I was in wrestling or some type of martial art. I got uncles that were either in the streets fighting or in the ring fighting.
Okay.
There was always some type of contact happening. So that was easy. So I was skinny, but I was vicious at the same time. So I was quick to flare off if you were to talk about me, like real fast.
And it seems like, you know, we're talking about high school, so you're like, what, 15, 16?
Yeah.
You're a lot older. Not a lot older. You're older now.
Hey, man,
And
watch
you-
it.
I know.
All right, exactly. Look at this guy. Hold on, go 10 push-ups right now, my
Yeah,
guy.
no, I said,
You can
got
use
it.
them.
But the fact that fire has stood lit for so long, like, how, you know, what keeps that fire lit?
I think it was I got lucky when I was young. It became a habit. So it was a necessity at first, and then became a habit. So I had uncles that would come pick me up sometimes. You know, maybe this uncle on my mom's side would box. You know, and no matter what I try to do, he wants to throw gloves. He wants to throw hands. The uncle on my father's side, he liked martial arts. So when I hung out with on that side, we're going in the garage. We're playing with sticks. We're doing things that are very active. So it's like I had no choice. You know, I'm going to lift weights. The uncle on my mom's side, he loved working out. You know, he did some time here and there and there.
Yeah.
So when he get out, he said, "Give me 10 sets of 10." There was always 10 sets of 10 for everything.
Yeah.
So that becomes a norm. You know, and the next thing you know, you got homeboys, buddies. You know, you're working out, and you got that one or two friends that you stick with as your buddies, and you begin to hold yourself accountable through challenges.
Yeah.
You know, and like what size arms you got? You know, how far can you jump? You know, it becomes more of a competition. So I had the right friends and the right people around me to help cultivate that side of myself, I think.
And it kind of just
It became me.
Nice.
And then I think it was also in my DNA too. Just, you know, like some people, you can fix cars right away, or you can, you know, you're good with your hands, fixing car, houses and stuff like that. It just stuck with me because it was me.
Yeah.
You know, I found my element right away.
All right, so You sound, I mean, Canada, you sound very well-rounded. How important is it, like, to you to be well-rounded in all these areas of fitness?
For me, it was important because that was a profession I knew I was going to go into. You know, but if you're somebody who's trying to get into shape, you know, I guess your only vision would be where you're looking at right now for the moment, and then hopefully you can catch on and find other ways to keep it, you know.
Okay. Got you.
So, how?
No, go ahead.
So, how long have you been into this fitness journey?
So, are you asking how long I've been teaching it, or
yeah,
how long?
Well, just in general, how long you've been living it, teaching it?
So right now, of the 30 years I'm going off of is from when I turned 15. So right in high school, I started off with the ROP, sports injuries program. I was already lifting weights with the football. I played football and I was a wrestler, so you had to lift weights then.
Yeah.
So, and then I started wrestling in junior high school, so I was already lifting weights there. I had a coach, Coach Phillips, that went to San Clemente High School. He was a head coach there, but for some reason, I don't know anymore why, but he was coaching at my junior high school, and he was the first one that actually got me to actually lift weights. The first time I ever did power cleans was with Coach Phillip, and that was the sorest I've ever been. That very first time lifting weights with structured weights for the first time, not just picking up the little plastic weights we had at the house. You remember those?
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember those,
No,
right?
I
remember
The plastic with the concrete inside. Yeah, that's the first round. But what Coach Phillips was in junior high school, that was the first time, and that soreness was intriguing. I didn't understand it.
So prior to this,
It was a freaking surprise.
so prior to this, it was like you've never been like that's.
No, I don't think I've ever been sore prior to that before. That was my first experience because it was even an old school 70s style machine that the bench press was attached to it. The bar, it came out, and you can slide the bench out, and he had us actually doing power cleans on the machine.
Oh, okay.
Right, but the handles they're free moving, so they didn't get stuck when you flip the machine over.
Right.
So I did that, doing cleans and squats. Everything in my whole structure was sore.
How about you?
Nice.
What's the like the worst soreness?
Leg day.
No, but like, is there ever an event where you worked out so hard, like where you couldn't even walk out of bed? Because I remember there was one time, but I'm curious.
That was leg days, bro. Leg days for football. You know, leg days. You got your quads, your squats, and then you got to come back to practice the next day and then give another 110% when you feel like you can't even bend over to tie your shoes or nothing like that. But so definitely leg day was
I
tough for me.
The worst soreness I ever experienced was I went to military school, right, in Grizzlies Academy, and it was like, you know, the first week of Shark Week, right? So we get on the bus, and then boom, you get out, and they're screaming, they're having you push-ups and like, bro, and just doing push-ups, like that's all we really did was just push-ups, sit-ups, butterfly kicks, and I remember waking up. And I couldn't even put on my shirt, bro. I remember.
That's severe pain.
Yeah, I was like,
that's the 6 days pain.
Yeah, man. So
4 guards is too much.
I remember that. And to the audience, what has been the sorest experience you guys have ever encountered? We're curious to know.
So speaking about soreness, Canidate, like how important is it? Is it important knowing that, hey, I'm sore, that means I'm doing it properly, I'm getting the right workout, or what does it tell you when your body's sore? No,
soreness is okay. You know, you shouldn't look for soreness, but soreness is an indication that you've done some work to the muscle. That's okay.
Yeah, because I was watching an episode on Joe Rogan, and it was like a personal trainer or someone, and he did mention that like that you shouldn't be sore like when you work out. Is that accurate? He got into like really detail, but I can't really remember off the top of my head.
If you're a more advanced athlete, then your chances are you're going to be sore, right? But you're not looking for soreness. You may feel a little discomfort. Is more. I want to be more discomfort than being sore.
What is soreness? Like what is that like? We all hear
He
it.
might be getting there, bro. If you let him.
The soreness, no, it's a good question.
No,
It's just you
just
breaking
kidding.
down the muscle tissues from, like, every time you're working out, you break those tissues down. Then, we rest, we can repair those tissues also. But soreness is just you putting a lot of strain on the muscle. I call it like the Incredible Hulk effect. The more damage you do to the muscle, either from working out or running, you're surfing, whatever it is, you're going to feel sore from doing something where you've overexerted that muscle. And because you've overexerted the muscle, it's going to release a few toxins. It's going to release some things that's going to make that muscle sore.
So
Right.
would you recommend, like, if someone is let's say doing their biceps, they wake up to the next day, leave that muscle alone for at least a couple of days or something like that?
Yeah, you can leave it alone for a couple of days, but make sure you still work out on something else because you're going to
Yeah, yeah.
indirectly still work out your biceps.
Yeah,
but-
yeah. I mean, like, yeah, you still go to the gym, just work out.
A different muscle group.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
So before your workout, how do you prepare yourself? Like, do you do any special, like, do you work on yourself mentally first, or do you get mentally prepared before you actually
yeah.
get into the gym?
You put
or-
on those tight spandex and
Oh, yeah.
damn,
Snap
my head,
'em.
get-
Oh,
get
yeah.
a little
Right, get a
spank on the
little
head, like,
strut, a little
okay.
walk.
Yeah, you got to
Yeah,
prepare
that
yourself
way.
for this shit because it's not easy.
Mhm.
That's for sure. Even no matter what level you're on, you got to prepare yourself mentally, or if you know your mind is going to get in the way, you already have the tools to help you, setting alarms and things like that. But yeah, I prepare myself,
Okay.
Maybe I'll have a sports drink that I made myself, some fruit drinks and maybe a protein mix with it that right before I'm about to work out. But because I don't like to feel hungry.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I actually don't like to work on an empty stomach.
Yeah, I don't mean
I
either,
personally, I don't like the way it feels.
And I'm gonna ask you that type of question. We're gonna get later on, but yeah, because I'm kind of curious
Right.
when
Yeah,
it comes
definitely.
to that.
I think. Oh, go ahead.
No, go for it.
I think the struggle I have right now, like, is the voice in my head when I'm waking up, when I'm
Mhm.
nice and in bed with the blankets, I'm warm, to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and get after it.
Mhm.
What are some techniques or things that you can give us to where it'll help us, give us that little edge just to get up and do it, or is it just get up and do it?
You just have to get up and do it, but I would gradually give yourself like a few weeks, maybe 3 weeks or so, 21 or more days to give yourself time. So if you're getting up at setting up a new schedule, so you're getting up at a new time because you're going to be adding fitness into your new schedule, so you're going to be shifting your time shift, right? So I would maybe set my clock and put timers in between there if you know you're going to keep falling asleep. Not just
Okay.
one, 2, 3, 4 timers. Set one over here, it's on your left side, one on your right, one in your bathroom where it's going to echo really loud. Find ways to make yourself get up. But don't force yourself to dramatic time changes, because that's a hard commitment. Give
Okay.
yourself, set realistic goals, set small goals first,
Right.
to add up to the big picture.
Right.
Most of the time we
Awesome.
take the big picture and we put it, boom, right there in the front, and we want to accomplish this right now, but not giving ourselves realistic time frames. So if you have to really set expectations, realistic expectations on, if you cannot wake up at 5 in the morning, do not get up at 5 in the morning. Go at 5 p.m. when you feel your best time.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you hear
Okay.
that. Because you hear.
No.
Because we talked about earlier, like what are the common misconceptions that we get? Because there's so much information about fitness and nutrition and this as like, and if you're a person just wanting to, this is it's like you're overstimulated,
Right.
right, with just information as like what. Because I do hear a lot. Like, oh yeah, waking up early. Wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning.
Mhm.
Like, you gotta get up. If you don't get up, you're lazy and this and that. So I'm just like, damn. So hearing you say like, hey, like, let's be realistic.
Correct.
Yeah.
But if at the same time, if you're somebody who is a procrastinator, if you go home and you know that you're going to be comfortable, once you get home, then you should be the person in the morning and have to suffer on that end, because you're not going to realistically do it in the evening, right?
Right.
But then you're doing it in the mornings also to teach yourself to be a priority and get over your excuses for not doing it, right? So you kind of have to set your own mindset to I say that most of the time we're trying to look for our soulmates outside of ourselves, but I believe your true soulmate is within you, because you know all your secrets, all who your enemies are within yourself. You know everything about yourself. So if you take an opportunity to just change your vocabulary on how you approach it, then you're more likely going to stick with it. You know, I'm trying to find my soulmate within here.
Right.
You know,
That's a
my
good way to put it.
my soulmate opens its eyes up at 4 a.m. and it wakes up, but I go to sleep on my soulmate all the time and get back up at 6 a.m. Right?
Right.
So, but you do that. We do that, right? Naturally. There's a magic hour that we wake up early in the morning, naturally, and we get up. We're full of energy, and we're like, "What the hell am I doing up at this time?" And we end up going back to sleep.
Right.
Right. So we systematically programmed ourselves to fall into that excuse, right?
Yes, definitely.
So we got to be systematic to get ourselves out of that excuse, accepting that excuse,
Right.
right?
Okay, yeah, definitely. And I think that's where I'm at right now because I've been going to the gym. I haven't been being as consistent as I'd like to be, but for myself, I believe it was because I wasn't mentally prepared. I wasn't mentally doing these things like, you know, making realistic goals that was gonna help me to get to the big picture, as you're saying, you know. So that definitely I'm gonna take into consideration because I've been doing a lot of more mental work and, you know, inner work, as you could say.
I say create a manifold. You ever heard of a manifold? So you start with the circle at the top. Say whatever your goal is. You know, I'm trying to lose 50 pounds, and you put 50 pounds by 6 months. Right? And you draw a line here. You draw a line here. Right? So what are the things I got to do to support me getting to losing this 50 pounds? There's going to have to be a thought process and an action behind it. Right? All right. So we got 2 lines, one for the thought and one for the action. So what can I do to support the thought, encourage the action, right? So now I've got the thought, encouraging the action. Now the action is going to help encourage new thought. All right, so that's going to bridge the gap there. Now those two are going to close that portal.
They coincide.
They go right together. They can't have one without the other. They've got to go together, right? So I say tell the mind to get out of the way of the brain, and tell the brain to get out of the way of the mind. Right. But realizing that they're both in the same place within the body.
Right. Yeah, because you do hear a lot of that. Oh, you're a trainer, so I'm here. I'm sure you hear. I want to go back to the gym. I want to get back in shape.
Oh, what do you tell yourself, MJ? Or like, what is something that you go through that?
Well, like I was telling Canada, like I'm disciplined at certain things and not so disciplined at other things, and I've been working out in the boxing gym since I was 15. So similar to you, I was bullied when I was a little bit younger. I got into my first fight and I did horrible, and I told myself never again. Like never again am I gonna be vulnerable. Right. So then after that, I went to the boxing gym and I just fell in love with it. So I've been doing it like ever since. You know, I stopped once my son was born. I had a couple fights and so forth. But for me, it's like an addiction. Like I have an addictive personality, so like I have to do it. Like even if I'm like super tired, like, and that's the time when you need to do it is when you don't want to do it. That's the time. That's the time to do it. So I really, honestly, bro, I really don't give excuses not to go. The only time, honestly, I don't go to the gym is when I work the 12-hour shifts. That's the only time I don't work out. But other than that, like, I'm there.
And that's probably why we're more likely to work the 12-hour shifts out of habit versus not. So you got to combat the excuse of the 12 hours excuse. Right. So then the morning times would be a better way of getting that done. Right. I mean, so you're right about that. So the mornings to me is just a way of combating the excuses that are going to be ahead of you. All right, so if you're able to tackle yourself first, then everything else is cake.
Yeah, because I mean, I could wake up, you know, on my 12-hour shifts. I could wake up, you know, get a good night's sleep, get up, do, you know, go on a quick little run, do some quick 40 minutes, whatever. But I'm like, nah, I want to get that extra hour of sleep because in my mind, I have a long day ahead of me. So, I guess in that sense, that's where I'm undisciplined.
No, just short-sighted on the thought. Now you say you have a long day. I say you have a long life ahead of you.
There you go.
Right? Yes. So it's a different changing your words. That's it. Your viewpoint and how you see it, then that'll change your action. Right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
like
that
this
makes
is,
a lot of sense.
that makes
Definitely,
a lot of
yeah.
sense. It's like a little philosopher.
No,
Let's go.
Right?
We
No.
got Plato in the house.
Right?
Yeah, you didn't know?
And we can all agree James has been, boxing for that many years. We can still see the damage, but it's cool, No, just kidding.
All right,
MJ.
so okay.
This is
So,
great.
so walk us through a beginner. Let's just say for an audience member that's listening, green in the gym, right?
Mhm.
Walk into the gym the first time, and when you walk into the gym for the first time, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. You're very self-conscious,
Right.
So walk us through what would be your suggestion to someone who's just starting off going into the gym.
If you're just starting off going into the gym, I personally would recommend getting a professional.
I agree.
Yeah, just take the free workout, or even purchase some personal training for the 2 weeks or a month or so. Even if it's only once a week or once every other week, just get some type of initial instructions when you first get into the gym. Because I'll admit, for myself, even going into some of these gyms, there's a lot of new equipment. There's a lot of stuff in there to confuse you, and you don't know which direction to go. But if say you didn't go that route and you couldn't afford it, you just can do the bare minimums, get the free training advice still, but then I would go like the machine or cable route first.
Okay.
Yeah, because at least the machines have examples. There's pictures on them. It tells you what to do, what muscle group it's working, and then all the machines are in they're in good rows. There's an ab row, there's a back row, chest row, leg row. So. Master that first, because now your technique may not be the best. You're still new to things, so the machines will kind of make it a little easier on you to transition, right? And then from the machines, then start looking in, going to the cables, and then to the free weights, and then now you can start thinking about doing the bench presses and the hammer strength and things like that. But I would go with the machines first, because it's a set place, set movement. You're not gonna deviate in your posture. You're not gonna get things wrong. You're more likely not to get things wrong.
Right.
It can still happen, but it's a little more strict for you. So it's a better guide.
No, because honestly, bro, I agree with you when it comes to if I was a new person going to the gym, I would definitely would probably do the personal trainer, because how sometimes some of these trainers like Elite Fitness or whatever, they're showing people the most basic exercises like push-ups or like things that's like, really,
But wouldn't you want to get the basics down first? Isn't that the goal?
But sometimes when you think, okay, so if they're just doing some of the basics, that may be just like the evaluation.
Right.
You might be seeing the fitness director, who you may mistaken as a personal trainer. Well, he's not there to just do personal training. He's actually there to sell. Maybe place the client with another trainer. He's there to test them, or she's there to test them to see where their fitness level is at. And you got to sometimes start with some of the basics, because my mom, I don't know if she can do a push-up.
Yeah.
At least not a regular push-up.
Yeah, because it's funny that you brought up your mom, because my mom was going back to the gym, and I just kind of advised her Mom, I would ask the trainers to show you the machines, just so you have an understanding of how all the machines work, and then that would help you out. And after that, gradually start doing other exercises and so forth.
Yeah.
And even the classes, like the whatever classes that they provide, because at least you have that support. When you're in there, you kind of feel alone. So it's like, at least if you have those classes, you have a little bit more support. And some of the teachers actually push you, but I understand it all depends on what is it that you're trying to accomplish.
Right.
So,
all right. I have a question. Do you feel like how important, developing the basics is gonna prevent injuries?
It will help. It will help prevent injuries, delay injuries, but most of the time, most people have injuries already. So that's the reason why I say start off with the machines, because I haven't found a person who doesn't have some type of knee, elbow, neck, something herniated disc. Everybody in the world has got something going on with them, something. So
yeah, MJ's knees are shot.
Right, I would always go. Is that why
Spends a lot of times on his knees.
Callus on my knees. I could slide to the concrete, wouldn't feel a thing. All right. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you got
Right.
wrestler's knees. Yeah, wrestlers' knees. We don't even have kneecaps.
That's right.
So talk us through like a routine workout with like a beginner. Like when you're a beginner workout or going into your workout, what would you? I know you said the cables and all that.
Okay.
But like, what would you recommend as far as this? What workouts would you recommend?
So if it's a beginner, I would start off with the machines and cables, maybe 1 to 2, maybe 3 sets, depending on, if they've worked out before or if they're just a complete novice.
Okay.
Or if they haven't been in the gym for years and years and years. Because I want to test and see where their strength level is at, and I want to see like how they're going to feel after the workout. What their mind is at. Because I want them to feel some of the soreness, and I want to see what I'm dealing with.
Right.
I want to see what I have a battle plan, so I've got to be a general and come up with a good battle plan ahead of time. So I got to see what you're capable of doing and how you handle what we've done.
Okay.
Right, and then which going to tell me what you're probably going to end up doing afterwards. If you're going to take this seriously enough, or you're going to do the workouts afterwards, or you're going to follow the food advice and mental advice, all these suggestions that I'm giving you.
So results.
Mhm.
Okay. A lot of people stop going to the gym because they don't see results.
Mhm.
What is your take on that? When should a person start seeing the results? I understand it's based off what is it they're trying to accomplish,
Mhm.
but when should a person you think should see results?
Your results are based upon your understanding, right? So in the beginning of you working out, all you understood was if I move weight, I'm gonna move weight. Weight's gonna come off, or I'm gonna get a little bit stronger. But then it stops because your understanding stopped. Your knowledge of yourself and the body began to stop. But if you were able to keep learning and keep trying to learn, then chances of you plateauing or not getting your results are slim to zero, right? But if you're constantly working on just the movement part of things, which most people are, then your results are gonna stop there, because you can only go so far with movements. Your mind has always got to be ahead of your movement. Right.
Okay.
Right. So sometimes where our minds fall behind our movements, and we fall short. We get in the way.
Mm-hmm.
So your action plan has always got to be ahead of you. So you always got to be on your toes, thinking about the next day, the next movement, one more rep, one more.
Right.
All right.
So for an average person, what do you think is in a week? Like how long should a person be working out for, and how long should they be in the gym for?
I say you should work out 3 to 4 days a week, maybe an hour a day. They're not too intense, where you're putting too much stress on your bones, your tendons. You want to take that easy in the beginning. That's another reason why I keep the sets down and the weight not too heavy, because we've got ligaments and we've got bones and things that need to catch up, that need to be strengthened. Where most people, a lot of people have osteoarthritis, they've bone problems, tendon problems before even lifting.
Okay.
So no, that's where I recommend not doing so much free weight, where things are moving around without the technicality first, without the knowledge first.
Right.
No, but there's some knowledge on the machines that can get you to past that first stage. Right?
Oh yeah. And with your new clients, I know you do your observations,
Mhm.
how they're performing and stuff like that. Do you also ask about nutrition?
Yes, we talk about nutrition too. That's very important. It's like nutrition, lifting weights. You can't have one without the other.
Mm-hmm.
It's not 80-20, 33-33-33. It's even.
Gotta bridge
Everything
that
is
gap
even.
again.
Yeah. Then that's where prioritizing your day comes into action. Right? People say because they're not making it a priority, self-priority, then they can find excuses for skipping the meal, or it's okay, I can just make it up tomorrow, or I'll just do more cardio this day. So but the plan will help eliminate those excuses. You're excusing yourself out of the results.
Right.
People are getting the result, but the results are stopping. They're just excusing themselves from maintaining the results.
Right.
The results are hard. It's very difficult to deal with yourself. You know, we already know this because it's hard for other people to deal with us at the same time, right? And we're not even willing to deal with ourselves. So, you know, how can we expect others to deal with us? But that's a whole nother subject. But but that is the part of fitness, foraging instinctive thinking, F.I.T, to be fit, right? Through neurological care. It all starts with this little device right here. That's the manifold, right? And then the arms, everything trickles down, right? These are the carriers. This is my builders right here. These are the protectors. These are my shields. You got to protect the mind, right? And then this is the body that's going to get me to there, right? So it's all one, right? But it's not all one at one time, right? So here, maybe from if you're an early bird like I am, 3:30 in the morning to 10 a.m., I'm focusing just on my mindset. You know, I'm preparing my mind from all of these hours. It can be books, audios, you know, writing my goals down, writing my day down, including with my fitness. My fitness wording is in my everyday, right? And my mindset is a set that I've got to replicate and repeat every day. So I must do it exceptionally every single time. So so from this time to this time, I'm working on this. So maybe from 10:30 to 4:30, now I'm working on my food. I'm done dealing with the mind. I'm done dealing with that, people, problems, whatever. That's all there. Now I'm going to focus on my food. With this time, the sun is rise. This is the time to eat. The energy's high, you know. And I'm going to focus on this because this is the normal time when energy drops down low, right? It's during the middays when most people have their little 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock crash, right?
I need to take a nap.
It's because they're paying attention to something that's less important to them, other than their body, right? Well, your body's shutting down at this time. This is the time when you should be paying attention to it then, right? Your mind is very active in the morning, so I should be paying attention to that. Let's get all this work and mind shit out the way, and so I can focus on my body and get this thing right? Because I got those other 8 hours or 6 hours of the day, which is in the evening, for repair and prepare and getting ready for tomorrow, right?
Yeah, definitely. That's amazing.
Yeah,
I am Canidate. You better be checking
let's
him out.
go.
Canidate for Fitness. Canidate the number 4 Fitness. So I'm going to be saying it throughout the podcast. So you check it out, man. This is great information. Great information.
So what are the best exercises to build muscle and help with weight loss? Because I remember I asked you, a friend of mine, I guess 2 questions.
Okay.
You know, she was asking about her baby pouch, losing that little baby fat, that tummy. So yeah, what are good exercises, methods, diets, whatever it is?
So if you've got like this pouch or this so-called fat that you can't get rid of, then chances are you need to like do a cleanse. You know, maybe need to detox. You've got
What do you mean by cleanse though?
like a detox. Maybe you've got a backed up colon. Your intestines are backed up with fecal shit, things of that nature, and you need to get it out your system.
You just pop a pill, or what do you recommend? There's
Pills for that. There's pills that have a variety of blends in them, of different herb blends. There's liquids that you can take that are really bitter. You know, they help break down that kind of stuff in the system and getting it out. You know, we focus a lot on our consumption and how many meals that we eat per day, but how many of those meals are you actually releasing per day? Right? That's just as equally important.
So pretty much you're saying that the baby pouch is just filled with shit.
Yeah. Yeah, that's that booty juice. That's all that stuff in there, man. It needs to be dealt with.
Okay.
Right.
Go ahead. Does fasting help with that as well?
Absolutely. Intermittent fasting or any type of fasting can help. It's like the body's, when you start fasting, the body starts going into a certain stages where it's starting to start burning ketones and other toxins and stuff in the body that are being stored right now that we're not paying attention to.
Right.
So when you're fasting, your body's allowed to actually start burning into those cells.
Yeah, I was reading on the fasting. They were saying it was beneficial because it kills all of your old cells and replenishes your new cells.
Right.
But back to the question. That's
all right.
That's all right.
I got one more before we get to your question, MJ. So when you hear your stomach growling.
Mhm.
That's not it saying. Is that it saying, "Oh, I'm hungry," or is it actually doing the work to get rid of all that?
Yeah, it's
Shit in
it's
the pouch.
working. It's working. You can be hungry. Those are signals, but you're really necessarily you're not hungry. You know, you've already had your meal the day before. Then that earlier that day, usually our stomach starts growling out of habit.
Yeah, you're not.
You know,
starving, you're not-
you can train your body into habit. You can train it to think a certain way. Also, we've been programmed to think certain ways for so long that it becomes our everyday step, our everyday movement, without even realizing that you've been subconsciously programmed to think that way. Right.
Okay.
Just like when we start talking about natural medicine, people start saying, "Hey, is that healthy? Should you do that?" You tell somebody you don't drink water or you don't like water, like, "Oh yeah, I can understand that." So it's the backwards thinking.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
But going
Go
back
for it.
to
Yes.
if someone was trying to build mass and lose weight,
So
what's your recommendation on that?
So if you're trying to build mass, I would go like the compound movements, like some bench, some deadlifts, things that you're pulling weight off the floor, pull-ups, those type of movements you can really pound on and stack on the weight, pretty much.
Okay.
If you don't have weights, you want a full body, maybe like burpees, that type of movement would be good. Wear a weight vest, you can still. Matter of fact, even if you don't have a gym, some of the best workouts I've had have been outside of the gym. Throwing on a weight vest, 20, 30, 40-pound weight vest, doing pull-ups.
What do you think is an accurate amount? Because I know like they said the weight vest is good, but when you're running, it's the bouncing from your your knees.
Your knees and your
Okay.
feet.
It hurts concrete.
Dude, I was God.
Yeah, that's just how I feel about
exactly.
that
No,
shit,
for real.
man.
It's like,
Yeah,
So
it's
it's a bunch
just,
of excuses. Yeah.
yeah, but they don't say that shit when you're over there getting flipped on judo and getting put in arm bars and
Yeah.
chokeholds but now you throw a weight vest on and some ankle weights and now you can't run because it's gonna
Right.
hurt you. Get the
Yeah,
fuck.
I love it. I
Get,
love
am I
it.
cursing? Is that okay?
yeah, get the
yeah,
fuck
yeah.
out of
I
here.
just forgot to say.
Yeah, part.
That's cool.
That
Yeah,
part.
but get out of here with that kind of
yeah.
shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there's
Okay,
someone, there's someone out there was like, damn.
Let's say so if you are gonna wear a weight vest, you want to make sure that you strap it down.
Okay.
Don't let it just free bounce on your body.
Okay.
You could injure something.
Okay.
Okay.
Right?
Alright.
If you got ankle weights, you don't want your ankle weights just
Right.
going wild. You make sure they're tight. Tape them up. Strap them with another strap so it's like conform to the body. That's
Okay.
basically what it is. You want any additional weight, like calisthenic weight, you want it to form to the body.
Okay.
So it's like
Makes
you're
sense.
wearing a tight T-shirt or a tight pair of pants. It's one with you.
What do you think is an adequate weight? Like, okay, I'm like about 185, 190. If I were to, because I do have like a vest, but it's just like 50 pounds. I kind of
Good.
That's just like,
Put it on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man
Yeah,
up.
I was
Man
like,
up.
Walk with it. Put the vest on. Walk around with it. Get the feel for it. I don't know if you ever bench press, right?
yeah.
You're bench press and like let's say you're trying to get to 315, and before you actually put on the weight, they actually lift the weight up and just hold the plate
Yeah.
to let your nerves, those muscles, your joints adapt to the heavy weight.
Yeah.
Just feeling it, right? Just the same thing, just put the weight vest on, let your body feel it, let your traps feel it, let your nervous system feel it.
Yeah, because you feel it in the beginning, but then
Yeah,
as you start.
walk around with it.
Okay.
Walk around, go up and down the stairs with it, just walking.
Okay.
Let your body adapt to the new weight.
Okay.
And then you can start becoming more active and more aggressive with it.
Okay.
Just build up to it,
Okay.
or even start off with a lighter weight, because you can take weights out of those weight vests.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, you can take weights out. So if you got a 20-pounder, you can make it 15 pounds or 10
I
pounds.
didn't even know, you know what? I have it in the
Yeah,
car
I think
too. I
the
have
little
it.
Yeah.
spots you could bring
Yeah,
out,
you can
they
take
have,
those,
like,
open
metal
those
plates.
up, pull
They're
those
like
out.
metal plates.
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
everything.
I thought shit was like
So-
perfectly sealed in it. So what are the pretty common? We talked about injuries, right? But what are the pretty common injuries that you see that people do? Because I was again Joe Rogan. He had like this heavy lifter. He was like the world's strongest man, and he was talking about deadlifts.
Mhm.
He was like, yeah, that you shouldn't do deadlifts, right? Because he was like, the risk is not worth the reward, and that most like football gyms or things like that, no one really does deadlifts because the risk not worth the reward. What's your take on that? Is that true? Is this your preference?
I think that's a preference. I don't necessarily agree. I think you should do deadlifts. You know, maybe if you don't start off with a bar deadlift, maybe you start off with a hex squat or a hex bar deadlift, or you know, you're starting with dumbbell deadlifts, but you should deadlift because you're always going to pick something up off the ground.
Okay.
You're just picking up a box just earlier off the ground.
Right.
You deadlifted that box.
Okay.
You pick your kids up off the ground. We're deadlifting our children up.
Right.
All right. And so no matter what, you're always deadlifting without realizing when you're doing deadlift or box squats out of your seat, your chair, your bench, or your couch at home. You know, we're always doing something. You pick up groceries off the ground. So I would never stop doing deadlift. I would manage the weight better.
Okay.
You know, you don't have to do very, very heavy deadlift in order for it to be a beneficial exercise.
Okay.
I'm sure he's referring to extremely heavy deadlift.
Okay, yeah.
Right.
He just mentioned it. That it's like,
Right.
Shouldn't do it, but
Because it's a good stretch. It's good for the hamstrings, the back. It's a good pulling movement. Anything you're pulling off the ground, you know, you got to get yourself off the ground up sometimes.
Right.
So
with moving around and doing deadlifts and like you said, you're picking up boxes in your normal day, like form. How important is form?
Right. Oh,
like
form?
When working out or doing exercises and
form is important. However, you don't really have form when you're picking up these foreign objects or weird shaped objects or the flat screen TVs and the box again that's shaped very weird, and you got to pick it up with this way or this way. You're not thinking about form at all. You're just thinking about your brute strength. However you pick it up is your form. You know, so that's why I suggest, you know, start off light but do different variations in the bar so you can get you get different strengths. You know, you get the bar deadlift, you're bent over more, right? Then you got the hex deadlift where you're upright. You know, you're in between the bar. You know.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Right.
Yeah.
You can even do a broom deadlift, like the Wicked Witch.
Right.
You know, you stand between the bar and do a deadlift. Right?
Okay.
So there's other variations that I would suggest. Open up your range.
Okay.
Right. Because your back is available for a lot. So it's a big muscle group. So don't spare it heavy loads.
Okay.
So back to the injuries. So where are like just common injuries that you see people like? Where are just common workout injuries?
Now, what I've seen is predominantly shoulders. I've seen a lot of shoulder injuries, maybe improper bench pressing, or people are side sleepers. You know, over the years, sleeping on your side.
I'm a side sleeper. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So we don't think about things like that.
It's all your weight.
Yeah. So sometimes we may associate the injury with maybe something we did in exercise or sport, but prior to that sport, you always slept a certain way. All right. So you may have carried an injury into the sport, and the sport exacerbated the injury and made it worse. And then the programming, the reprogramming that the therapist and everybody's giving you, you're gonna follow along with that. But as I say, shoulders, knees. I've seen a lot of toe injuries, even myself. But people go to the gyms without their shoes.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Or a lot of the ground movements, animal movements today that's available. People are doing. I partake in that as well. You know, they don't do them with their shoes on.
But why do people take off their shoes?
Barefoot, grounding, use more muscles, more bones in your feet, give you more balance overall. You know, I don't know if your feet hurt when you take your shoes off.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So you should walk barefoot more. Those muscles are always cramped like this. Maybe your hips always hurt too. You know, because we're sitting a lot. So your feet are like this all the time. So one, for grounding, but two, it just helps stretch out those muscles.
Got you.
Your hands, we do that with your hands. They're open. They're being used all the time, but your feet are not. So you know, shin splints, knee problems, feet problems, because we're not wearing the proper shoes. Most of our shoes are
Iceland.
They push our toes together, real narrow. Remember those old school dress shoes?
Yeah.
Or those certain brands that got the points at the top, make our feet go like this. Or women, their feet too. They're wearing those freaking heels and flats. They're messing up their arches.
Yeah. That's
true. See, and that's why you got to go on all platforms. Look at I am Canidate for fitness, because you just described all my issues from
Start
my
the
shoulder, my feet. You know what I mean? Not working out without shoes. You know what I mean? Man, a lot of information.
Bro, but you have some stinky ass feet, dog. So
It's all right. It's hey,
Do that
it's all
detox,
right.
man. Do that cleanse.
That part,
Yeah, soak those feet.
exactly. Exactly.
Okay, let's talk about cardio.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about cardio. Because I noticed that a lot. I'm a people watch at the gym, and
That's weird. No,
I
just
noticed
kidding.
that.
No, I watch too.
I do.
I
I do.
noticed like a lot of the regulars, I rarely see them go do cardio. It's just lifting weights and that's it. How important is implementing cardio into your workout?
It's all goal based.
Okay.
So if my goal is to strengthen up my cardiovascular system, I want to knock some time off my mile. I just want to become a better runner, get more conditioned. Then I'm gonna focus on running, and I'm gonna add that into my program. But if I'm looking to build muscle, I'm not gonna be doing much running. I'll get my my conditioning through the weights.
Okay.
Right. So it's not. You should do both. You can do both, but cardio is actually pretty hard on the body. So I would recommend like a light version of cardio, unless you're a trained athlete where you're exerting some force. You're having to do sprints down the field. Now sprinting, that's different. Now I would recommend sprinting if you can sprint. Yeah, that's very muscle building.
How about like the bicycle, the Stairmaster, the treadmill? Like I would think like if you're doing leg day, maybe for 15-20 minutes, hop on that bicycle, hop on the Stairmaster. If you're gonna do running, put that shit up on the incline. Do those?
Yeah, so I think running and like VO2 stuff, like you're like dealing with the volume and oxygen and stuff, that's a completely different training system. And exercise, weightlifting is a completely different training system. We integrate the two for athletes. That makes sense because they're exerting a lot of force and they need a lot of speed, a lot of agility, a lot of quick acting movements. But my grandmother or my mom or someone who's not an athlete that doesn't need to be out there sprinting and running, exerting themselves really hard. I'd rather see them doing some fast walking, the speed walking or running sprints, running lines. Because lines it's like you're gonna reach a max speed, you're gonna stop, you're gonna go, run, stop, go, run, like intervals, right?
So
Never just constant.
So let's just say let's just say you're a person overweight, going to the gym. I mean, would you recommend cardio for them? Like you know how like there's always that again misconception. You want to lose weight, you gotta do a lot of cardio, a lot of calisthenics or.
No, I wouldn't recommend them to do tons of cardio. I would give them exercises that felt like it was cardio. Because again, if you're really obese or you haven't worked out, your bones, your ligaments aren't ready for it. Your mind is, but your body's not in this case. But when you get in better shape, your body's ready, but your mind is not. It switches, right? Because it's the intensity. But I wouldn't recommend somebody who's really heavy to just start running, start pounding, and it's a lot of force. Jumping, running, it's a lot of force on your bones, your ligaments, your head. There's a lot of pressure on the body. You're going against gravity. Bam. It's just it's hard.
Especially when your body's not conditioned to start taking all that.
You're going. It's like a hot rod. You never driven a hot rod before. You're going from 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. But most people spin out.
Yeah.
They spin out of control. They crash. All right. People who are heavy set and they just go right at it, they crash.
Right.
Or they get injured. They're more prone to injuries and disasters, and then they never come back. And they get stuck in that excuse again. So I would recommend someone start off slow, like we talked about earlier. Get a professional if you can afford it. There's even if you can't afford it, there's YouTube, there's videos, and find one person to, I would say maybe 1 to 3 people that you actually can relate to, and then stick with their program.
Okay, like so.
And stick with it, yeah.
So like, okay, so do you have like workout videos and stuff like that, like on YouTube and things like that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I got videos on there, got clients on there.
What's that called?
So you can go on candidateforfitness.com.
Okay.
Yeah, on candidateforfitness.com or my Instagram, candidateforfitness.
Okay.
I've got workout videos of my clients on there. And that's what's important too. You know, it's
So who would you recommend? Like
As far as what?
Minus yourself as far as like the videos. Like who do you think, minus yourself, who do you think is a pretty good fitness YouTuber that you're like, hey man, that guy or that girl kind of knows her.
There's quite a few of them out there. Yeah,
You
there's
just got to see what fits you.
there's ones that tailor to whatever your mind is at in that moment. Right? If you can't get it physically, if you know you're an ex-athlete, then you'd want to talk to somebody who's a coach.
Right.
You know, listen to somebody who has that athlete mentality. You know, if you're a novice, then you want to look for somebody who's deals with a lot of novice. You know, who has the patience in his tone or her tone to have understanding that you're a beginner and you come with a little more wine with the dinner.
And do you think, looking at, say, fitness coaches or someone you want to follow, having the same type of body figure, body form that you have, or shape, I should say?
Someone who can inspire you and that you can believe in.
Okay.
Because when the beginning of the journey, you don't really have the belief in yourself.
Confidence, yeah.
No, maybe the belief.
Okay.
Because you're going to quit. We tend to quit because the belief in ourselves is kind of short. So you got to find somebody that believes in you more. And you got to believe in their faith in you. So you got to tag onto somebody else's faith sometimes to push you further. Mm-hmm. And that's why coaches and trainers are good for people, because they have so much faith and belief in you. And they know that you can do it. And we're here for that purpose, to cultivate that out of you.
Right.
So if you have somebody, you know, that's standing by you, no matter what you say or what you're doing, and they've got an answer for everything that you're saying, or even if they don't, they can come back with one for you later on, because that's what their duty is for, then that would be the one I would recommend for you. Okay. You know, the one that makes you just unbelievably comfortable.
Okay.
And uncomfortable too.
On both sides.
Okay. On both sides. It's like you love the work, you love what they're about, but you can't stand them.
Yeah.
You cannot stand this person. You love them to death, but you cannot stand. That's your trainer.
I hate to love them, but I love to hate them.
Yeah, that's a good trainer for you.
Yeah,
that's a great trainer for you, because you know he's gonna push you. You're gonna accept the push. You know what it's doing to you or for you, and you're willing to work for that person, because that person's going all in on you, right, and not taking it easy on you whatsoever, no matter how much you're paying. Right. You know, that's another thing. You know, when someone's there, who doesn't matter how much you're paying or what you say or who you are. They're just there for the result. Right. Just the results. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. How important is stretching? Like that flexibility. I mean, I'll stretch, you know, but I'm not sitting there like. The one thing I do a lot now are just dead hangs. You know, but I'll just do like the basic stretching. How important is it? And how long should a person stretch for?
I say stretching, again, it's like a cardiovascular system doing cardio work. It's its own group. You know, there's a place for stretching as part of your program. You know, you're going to take one day and you're going to rest, relax, and stretch. You know, or you're here for the yoga part of it. You know, you when you get into whatever part of the fitness, you go all the way into it. You know, don't do 1,000 things as part of your program. You know, I got to stretch for 20 minutes. No, you don't. You just wasted stretching, which you could be doing some eccentric stretching in the muscles. So most people focus on the concentric part of the movement. That would be like on the bench press, the top part. You know, the flexing, the squeezing. Then there's the eccentric stretch, would be the bottom end of the movement, where the muscles being stretched out. That is the stretch I want to focus on. You know, not the stuff that you do before me or prior to me or or after me. It's the eccentric stretching. That's the most important part of the workout.
So you said eccentric. Right?
So the negatives, okay. Doing the negatives. You heard of negatives?
Yeah.
That's the eccentric part of the movement, right?
Okay.
So the most think if you got a hill, most will try to get the workout pushing the cart up the hill, but the real workout is stopping the cart from falling down the hill. right? That's the eccentric part. That's harder than pushing it up, right? Controlling yourself on the way down and still having the same amount of power as if you were pushing the cart up, because you actually have to control the cart on the way down with the same amount of force as you would pushing it up, right? But you got to apply even more force for controlling the cart from rolling you over, right? So it's completely different. You ever try run up the hill and try to stop yourself from running down the hill? How much harder is that?
Running down is
right? You got to control that shit. And if you don't control it right, your knees are gonna pop out. That's the eccentric part. Okay. That's where we need to focus on. That part, running down the hill comfortably, being able to walk backwards, doing these different movements. That's what's gonna set you apart.